What's good, YouTube? So we're about 6 months into the current generation of the iPhone 12, and by most accounts the iPhone 12, while initially in short supply, has been a success for Apple. It's been one of the most popular phones of the recent year. On top of this, the surprising success of the smaller version of the iPhone 12, the iPhone 12 mini, means that we'll be likely seeing smaller versions of Apple's flagship phones for at least a few more generations to come, or until there's a large trend change or form factor change with smartphones. The popularity of the iPhone 12 mini was a really surprising development, as prior to this, the overall trend for iPhone has been increasing screen size over the last few generations. So, the popularity of the iPhone 12 mini really does show that people are not just looking for bigger and better phones in their flagship devices. And Apple has proven that if you create a comfortable phone that you can hold in one hand that's powered by the latest technology, that there's definitely a market for it. Which brings us to the topic of this video, as we'll likely see a continuation of this trend of the latest technology being placed in the smaller version of the iPhone for a few more generations. And with this in mind, should you wait for the iPhone 13 to see exactly what technology is packed into the smaller version and other versions of the iPhone 13, or should you upgrade to the iPhone 12 now? And while the iPhone 13's formal specifications have yet to be formally announced, there's a lot of rumors floating around the market from some very reputable leakers that does give us some indication on what exactly Apple's game plan is for the iPhone 13. Starting out, if you're looking for a smaller version of iPhone, it's probably safe to say that after the success of the iPhone 12 mini, that the miniature version will be coming back on the 13th generation. And what's more is that we'll very likely see some of the more premium features that were found on the premium and larger versions of the iPhone brought down to the iPhone 13 mini. The most obvious of this, of course, is the LiDAR scanner, which was present on the iPhone 12 Pro. Hopefully this spatial recognition technology will be found on the iPhone 13 mini, as the iPhone 12 already has one of the best in-class cameras, even as it stands without the LiDAR scanner. So hopefully we'll see more of the same on the iPhone 13 mini or the regular version of the iPhone 13 as well. Next up is 5G, which was introduced on the iPhone 12. Being Apple's first 5G device, the 5G functionality on the iPhone 12 was a much welcome feature. There's little to no reason why Apple wouldn't want to include 5G on the next generation. So if you're currently on a 4G phone and are looking to upgrade, then waiting out for the iPhone 13 might be the best option for you, particularly as 5G networks develop in your area. The infrastructure of 5G is growing around the world, and if you don't already have a 5G node nearby to you and you live in a major city, you'll likely have one as the 5G infrastructure develops in your area. So for the time being, as 5G grows, you might want to wait with your older version of the iPhone prior to upgrading, as there's really no point to having a 5G phone if you can't connect to a 5G network in your area. So in regards to network connectivity, time frame really is on your side if you're thinking of waiting for the iPhone 13. Next up, we have a rumored feature for the iPhone 13, and that is a under-the-screen fingerprint reader. Since the iPhone 10, Apple's flagship line of phones have used Face Unlock as the primary biometric authentication feature. And while it was off to a shaky start since its inception on the iPhone 10, Apple's Face Unlock technology has certainly improved over the years. What's rumored is that Apple is developing or has already developed a fingerprint reader that can accurately read and quickly read your fingerprint, and this can be placed under the iPhone's screen without increasing the bezel size and or thickness of the iPhone too significantly. So if you were never a fan of the face unlock or just can't live without a fingerprint reader and some of the features and convenience that you get from a fingerprint reader, then waiting to see what the formal announcement is in terms of Apple's iPhone 13 and the presence of a fingerprint reader might be worth the wait, as no matter how good Apple's face unlock becomes, it will never really substitute for the convenience of being able to use your fingerprint. For me personally, I'm fine with face unlock and passcode, as even though I do enjoy the convenience that you get from a fingerprint reader, I've been able to follow Apple's face unlock technology over the generations, and I've become accustomed to using my face and a passcode to unlock my iPhone when I need to. When running Android devices with a fingerprint reader though, I do miss the convenience of being able to unlock things like finance apps and other secure apps using my fingerprint. If I'm really going for convenience, I can dual carry an iOS and Android device with a fingerprint reader, though the sheer performance of the iPhone 12 is satisfactory enough to make up for the lack of a fingerprint reader, in my opinion, as apps and face unlock works faster than they ever have before with Apple's A14 Bionic chip. So the question remains, with all these existing technologies and rumored technologies that's expected on the next generation of the iPhone, should you upgrade now to the iPhone 12 6 months into it, or wait until the iPhone 13? We do know that the iPhone 12 is a great and successful device. It's possibly Apple's greatest iPhone, and it's certainly the best camera on an Apple iPhone. If you're running an older model of the iPhone, let's say pre-iPhone 8, then the difference between what you get from this year's iPhone and the iPhones before the iPhone 8 is, in my opinion, significant enough that 6 months of usage might very well be worth the upgrade for you, particularly as you get upgrades to the screen, camera, and performance with Apple's blazing fast A14 Bionic chip. If you're running an iPhone 10 or greater though, then you might be better served just by waiting it out until the next version of the iPhone comes out to see how far Apple can progress with the screen technology, as well as how much Apple can improve its already excellent camera system. An iPhone 10 or later will probably hold you over for the 6 or 7 months until the iPhone 13's final feature set are announced. So in a nutshell, based on the possibility of having a fingerprint reader, the possibility of having some premium features on a smaller version of the iPhone 13, and of course overall improvements in Apple's chipset and software make the iPhone 13 a very enticing thing to wait for. What is certain though is that the iPhone 12 is simply a great device, and if you decide not to wait for the iPhone 13, you're certainly getting your money's worth with the iPhone 12, as Apple has made the best iPhone yet. So what do you think? Do you think 6 months in it's worth waiting for the next version of the iPhone to see if a fingerprint reader and other in-demand technologies are included in Apple's flagship? Leave a message down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.